What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Sarath, aka Makazi.
And your boy Chris Brown, aka Red Ford Delta. How's everybody doing out there?
Well, if you're tuning in right now, you're about to hear an episode that we filmed before Movie Therapy Podcast even got started. But when it was the Movie Cover Roulette, I like we said, we've been doing this for a while, even though you guys have just been hearing this recently. But this episode you're about to hear is from, it's from the vault. It's from
From the
our
Dark
early
Ages.
days. Yeah. So
You're gonna see different setups, different looks, glasses.
Yeah, so some suspect audio, but
Oh yeah, definitely that.
but at the end of
But
the day, it's because we were trying to figure out how we were going to go about this and to be able to bring you guys the content that you guys love.
indeed.
So with that being
So
said, thank you so much for joining us and coming with us on this journey, and we appreciate the hell out of y'all. And I hope you enjoy this episode. Yeah, we're just gonna start this shit live.
the only time I caught the Holy Ghost was when I was in church drinking.
Like they're two dumb dudes. Welcome to the latest episode of Sarath and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast. All right, ready? I'm gonna give a clap for sound. That didn't sound good at all.
No, it didn't.
Did that sound good? Nah.
No, it sounds a lot duller than last week.
Yeah, hold on. Whatever. That should show up on the thing.
But, all right, cool.
All right, I'm gonna keep that in there. Like that's the kind of shit that I like.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, okay. This is episode 2 of the Movie Cover Roulette podcast with your boy Sarath, aka Makazi, and who you?
Your boy Chris Breezy, aka Red Ford Delta.
Yeah, and we back with a very interesting movie this week.
Yeah,
choice of Mr. Chris Brown here, and yeah, very very interesting choice, bro. Which you're lighting up right now, Chris. For the audio listeners, Chris is getting into his mode, so he's about to light up another cigar.
Well, yes, indeed.
And I'm over here. Like I said, I don't like to drink during the weekdays, but for the podcast.
What is that? Because normally you got some kombucha cider stuff. You got your whole glass of some ice right now.
Yeah, this is some what is it? It's Blind Squirrel peanut butter whiskey.
Okay, you got your big boy glass. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, you got Chicago. I got my Boston. Let's go.
Hey, there we go.
Toast.
Yes, indeed.
Man, because I was gonna get the cider because I had some, and I was just like, you know what? Let me just. And then I thought about making an old fashioned, and I was like, nah, you know what? Let's do the peanut butter whiskey. I could just pour it over a little golf globe ice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any like the globe ice at your house, or do you just use regular? You don't barely use ice at all.
No, I really don't. If I do, I just go to the store and buy a bag of ice.
Yeah, because you got that Alabama water. That's why I don't want to make any ice with that. Ain't nothing wrong with Alabama water. I like
Florida's worse.
Yeah, I know. We got well water. That shit sucks. Smelling like eggs. We one time we went to the spring. We went camping, and we were out like at a natural spring, whatever. I think it was like Waukeeva Falls or something like that. But the whole spring smells like rotten eggs. So it's fun, and you're having fun, and you're swimming, and you're going off the water slides. But sometimes it's hard to enjoy it because you just get that smell in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man. All right. So, Chris, since it was your choice, how about we introduce the listeners to what you chose for the movie for this week?
All right. So the movie I chose for this week was The Human Stain. It was literally our last second movie because the original.
So do you have a picture of the cover?
No, not on me.
All right, let me look it up.
You showed it last week.
But. Yeah, but I mean, this is a whole new episode. Maybe someone didn't listen last week. You gotta listen. See, man, you gotta continuity, brother.
Yeah, my bad.
But no, I want to show a picture because I need you to fill the audience in on, or listeners in on, why you chose this movie. Because just looking at the cover, it is not something that I would immediately go, oh, this is interesting. Let me watch this. All right, so this is off. I'm holding it up to the camera right now for the video watchers. And for the audio people, it's a profile picture of Anthony Hopkins, and then a picture of Nicole Kidman behind him, like pulling down her like lingerie strap, and it's in like different shades of blue. But that's literally it. That's all it is to the cover. It's very, very subtle.
Yeah.
Not much to it. So, Chris, tell me what the hell went through your mind when you looked at this?
Look, okay. My educated answer, as I was scrolling through, I saw a white woman taking her clothes off, and I was like, "Oh snap, that's sexy." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "There's got to be something going on in this movie." So I picked it.
Why's it got to be a white woman? Can't it be a woman?
Well, I mean, because
Yeah, but
Uncle Ruckus over here, she had that silky white skin, you know. But anyways, but no,
all right.
but nah, honestly, the movie I had picked out, like I said, I don't know if last week if you tuned in, I had the title, had the movie, but when I went to go back and look for it to make sure I had the title correct, I couldn't find it. And we know we're about to get started, and I was like, I need a movie. So I literally just scanned over, and that movie came up, and I was like, okay, Anthony Hopkins sounds good, and just picked it. So that's what I went with.
All right. And okay, so we'll give a few minutes of like non-spoilery stuff. So if you're guessing whether we like the movie, since you picked it, Chris, like let me hear what you thought. Like just a quick
a quick overview.
Yeah, there you go.
The movie was definitely good to me. Like it was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Good storyline, good plot twist. Because I know we're going to talk about the part that probably caught both of us off guard. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, yeah, maybe. I don't know. There was a couple of those, so we might be talking about two different ones. But keep going.
Yeah. Like I said, the story itself, the actors. I mean, everything. I think I was really more intrigued about the story overall.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if any other actors played it and they just as good as acting, I think it still would have been a good movie just because of the story itself.
Yeah.
So overall, yeah, I liked it.
I didn't know it was based off a book.
Me either.
Yeah, so it actually made me interested. Like when I saw that, I was like, oh, depending on how it went. And after it got done, I'm really curious. I might actually go look up the book because, I mean, it was definitely like really complex. It's a very adult movie. Like,
oh yes,
I don't think younger kids, teenagers may be into it, but it's a very adult. Like they don't make movies like this no more.
No, they really don't.
Like, I mean, I think the movie came out in 2003 or something like that. I was trying to look it up.
Yeah.
And I don't see movies like this being released in theaters anymore. Like,
no.
If a movie like this came out, it would come out like to Netflix, and like this is the movie because there's no guarantee you're gonna get a return on profit with a movie like this. But I mean, granted, it's also based off a book, so the book could have like legs, and fans of the book could come watch it. But yeah, I can't see it doing all that great in theaters nowadays. I don't know how it did back when it arrived.
Yeah, honestly, I never even had heard of the movie, so I actually seen it came out 2003. That's the year I graduated high school, and I mean, I don't think I was really that much into movies back then like that, but at the same time, it wasn't. I don't remember it being publicized either.
Yeah, and back then, like I was into movies, but that wasn't really my forte. But like, yeah, because I graduated in 2001, so I was just out of high school and knee deep in wrestling and stuff like that. So I wasn't really paying attention to movies like that unless it was like action movies, comedies, and things like that. So this movie clearly, bypassed me, which is crazy because it's got an insane cast.
Yes.
So let me put down this cast list because I was watching it and I was like, holy crap! Like it has a like monster actors and actresses in this movie.
Yes. Young too.
Yeah, like hold on.
A young Kerry Washington.
Yeah, so it starred Anthony Hopkins, Nicole Kidman, and then they had young Kerry Washington just playing a bit part in there. Wentworth Miller. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but that's the dude from Prison Break. He played the young Anthony Hopkins in the movie. Ed Harris, who's always dope in movies. Like if you ever seen, I think he was in 3:10 to Yuma. Like he killed it in that movie. Like man, and then like Gary Sinise, what is it? Harry Lennox, the dude from he was in Man of Steel, but he was also in like The Matrix.
Reloaded.
Yeah. Clark Gregg, the dude that played Coulson in Avengers. He was a lawyer. Yeah, crazy cast. So yeah, I was very surprised that like it bypassed me like that.
Yeah.
The story was really good, really complex, very, very adult.
Yes.
Like, you know how like sometimes you see movies nowadays and like tries to hit every demographic. So you got your jokes for your kids, you got your jokes for your. No, this is like, I don't see anyone under 30 really like getting into it unless they're very mature. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I know watching it, I saw like a lot of my life, a lot of me in different situations. Just I can relate to a lot of different characters in the movie. Like, wow, this is crazy. But also I'm over 30.
Well, like I'm a writer. I love writing, and like one thing I really loved about this movie because it felt like a character study. It felt like you were watching, just an ensemble of broken characters trying to learn how to heal. And
Yes.
that's what really intrigued me. It was like, okay, I'm like, all these people have been through some shit, and like they're learning how to heal, and that's what really like attracted me to the movie when I was watching it.
Mm.
All right, so before we get into spoilers, final thoughts. I really like the movie. I think if you're interested in a nice drama, a really complex adult drama that's going to make you think, it's going to make you really analyze life and the story, then I think you should definitely check this out. You?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. If, like my friend Sarath said here, if you're into dramas and you want to think, and it makes you want to step outside yourself and just expand your mental capacity. This movie will do it. It'll make you think the whole way through, and just hopefully maybe understand some things, or just become better in yourself.
Yeah. And before we get to spoilers, one thing that had me sold literally 2 seconds in the movie. It's set in Western Massachusetts.
Yeah, I was very going to say because I knew I was going to be. Oh snap!
Yeah,
Shout out.
When I saw it was set in Western, like when they started talking about like the college that the guy went to and stuff like that, I almost picked up my phone, not because I was bored, but because I was intrigued. Like, oh, where is this spot? Because like maybe I've driven by it, something like that. Like, I was like, oh, this is home. Yeah. And like there's that one part where they're like, oh, it's the radio station from Springfield. I was like,
look, when I heard that, I was kind of geeked, like, oh snap! Shout out to the 413.
Exactly.
That's hometown for us, for all the listeners and the viewers.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of movies that are like set in Western Massachusetts. Like, if you hear about the Berkshires in movies, that's Western Massachusetts, but people might not correlate that. But like, I know recently, like Cider House Rules filmed in I think Amherst or Northampton. Edge of Darkness with Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
I know they filmed in Northampton, right on Main Street, right down the street from Tully's. The downtown, I think the City Hall in downtown Northampton was like doubled as like a library where Mel Gibson walks down it. But yeah, shout out to the Western Massachusetts.
Yes, indeed.
Everything films in Boston, which I love Boston, my favorite city. But like,
I'm not gonna lie, but he said we tuned into a station that's coming out of Springfield. I was like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Shoot.
All right. So let's get into some spoilers, okay? All right, everybody, if you don't want any spoilers and you want to watch this movie, I urge you to just go watch the movie. It's really good. It's very, very good. Indeed. All right, ready? And bam. All right, spoiler time. Are you toking your cigar to get ready for the spoilers?
Oh, I mean, I'm trying to figure out where I want to start, but I guess it's best to start at the beginning.
Well, no, first of all, what kind of cigar you got?
This one's one of my little go-tos. I call it my backyard barbecue cigar. If I say the name correct, it's a Baccarat 1871. It's kind of mellow, a slightly sweet taste to it, and this is actually one of my favorites. But because they're fairly cheap, I get a lot of them when I just smoke them when I'm out in the backyard barbecue.
I'm telling you, if any of you out there are listening to this and you work in the cigar industry, send some over to your boy Chris, and he'll give you free advertising on the show.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know nothing about no cigars. I didn't have one cigar in my life, and I took one toke, and that was it. I could care less.
Yeah, I've never a good one, but it's all good.
All right, yeah. So let's start right at the beginning. So first of all, the cast, Western Massachusetts, that had me sold. Mm-hmm. And secondly, another thing that has me sold, and I don't know how you are, but like, there's certain things, if I see them in a movie, I'm immediately intrigued and I'm watching. One, if the movie is set in Boston or San Francisco, I don't know why. I have to watch it. I don't know why. It's just it does it. So this one's Western Mass, definitely watching it. But those two things. And two, if a movie is set in the winter, definitely watching it. I don't know why. For some reason I feel like it's this little bit of production value that like you don't see in a lot of movies unless they're like Christmas movies. So when you see a regular movie that's in the winter, like I really like it. So yeah, that they had me sold about that. Right?
Mine was just the whole introduction of the movie, because if I remember correctly, it starts off with the three guys walking and they're talking about the whole scandal with Bill Clinton.
Yeah,
and
it was gratuitous.
Yeah, know, so back at that time when that took place, I don't even remember how old I was, but that was almost as big as O.J. Simpson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was 98. I remember. Well, I mean, they said it in the movie, but it was like they were said it in like 98, which is, I mean, that's when I was entering high school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's back then. But that's again just from their little 2 minutes of banter with them. Immediately, I don't know if you can make this movie in 2021 with that kind of banter.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
And it's crazy. Like I don't see anything wrong with the banter because you're establishing, the attitudes of these, these guys and like what they're about and stuff like that. So you're getting it across in 2 minutes with this like very crass, very just obscene, talking back and forth. Where like, I mean, if you put that into a movie now, I don't know if it would like perpetuate any like negative, stereotypes or negative reactions to society right now. But like, I remember a time when people talked like that and it was just no big deal. It was just everyday talk. So, times change. It didn't make me think anything like worse of the movie or the time. I just heard it and I was like, oh, okay. These are the type of people we're talking to. This is the time we're talking about. Okay, cool.
But see, even like that, it actually made me feel good because, that was, well, I'm not going to say our era, but, we were growing up in that era. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how we were being raised up. Yeah. And, like I said, it was normal.
Yeah. And I get that times changed and, people evolve and things, become different, but like that's when we grew up in that era, like that was normal talk and like our ears are used to that. So it probably doesn't hit us the same way it'll hit someone, younger watching this movie. Like, yeah. I think us, when you hear stuff like that, you're like, oh, snap, they talking like that. Whereas if a younger person, like, I can't believe they said that. Like, yeah, man, it's weird, man. I'm trying to lay back, lay forward. It just kind of feels weird.
Hold on, I know I don't want to break story, but I just looked at your shirt.
Yeah,
you are so stereotypical.
Hey, man, listen, I'm gonna make the ramen dance. See? Yeah. Don't hate. Don't hate. You got the gold chains and the bandana. I got the ramen shirt. We live in every stereotype right now, bro.
Hey, it is what it is. All right, here we go. All right, back to the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it for me. The introduction, and then going directly into the backstory of Anthony Hopkins' character.
Yeah. So
like how he went to school and where he went, how educated he was.
Yeah, and like it was crazy that like, you see that a lot now. Like, they made it a point to point out that like, he was using, for, again, spoilers, he got kicked out or he got in trouble for using the word spook in his college. And he was using it as a term towards ghosts, as in someone not being there. But then because it's also a word used as, as a slur towards African Americans, he got in trouble and he ended up resigning from his job and stuff like that. And like, I can really relate to that just on a sense of that, like, when we grew up, certain words were used freely, but now like the connotation is heavier and, people are held way more accountable for the things they say, especially in, public settings like that. So it was, I can understand someone growing up younger or from an earlier era being so used to a certain word. And then when they use it in a modern era, it doesn't come across the same way that they, once thought.
Yeah.
Which I thought, like, I just thought that was just an aside. I didn't know that was going to have like a very central theme through this movie.
Through the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when it breaks down to why it was so, intense, and then his backstory to it, I was just like, yo, right, I did not see that coming.
So all right. So before we get to that backstory,
Yeah.
Like, you know, that happens, and like his wife is trying to like help him along, and she ends up passing away.
Yeah. In the same, like, no, it was the same day because his clothes were different.
Yeah. They went to I just said she went to the hospital.
Yeah.
Or that. But yeah, so she ends up passing away. Then he goes to find the dude in the woods, the writer, Gary Sinise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I felt for that dude because like I would love to have a cabin in the woods by a lake. Like that's
see, it's funny though, because similar to where I live now, it's peaceful, it's quiet. But he makes a reference in the movie about I'm not the one hiding up here away from society.
Yeah.
You know, and they just like,
Yeah, it makes you think like, are you telling yourself that you're here because you're looking for peace and quiet, because you're hiding away from the things that are bothering you? Like, I can see that. I can see, you know, the mental gymnastics a person can make in order to justify doing certain things when in reality all they're doing is running away from their issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I ain't gonna hate on a cabin in the woods. I want that. I'd love to go kayaking right in the morning. Fish. That sounds like fun.
Depends on the temperature.
Ice fishing. Ice fishing sounds good. You ain't never tried ice fishing?
Nah, I'm not saying I wouldn't though. I would, but nah.
You say it like that. You're like, nah. Like obviously I didn't ice fish.
I was about to say, I was gonna say black people don't ice fish, but you know, I would try it.
I can't wear Timbs on the ice.
Oh man, they ain't made for ice. They don't grip, you know.
Dude, so like, all right. So when Anthony Hopkins is getting like familiar with Gary Sinise and they're becoming friends and all that stuff, knowing the fact that like, so I don't know where it came up or something like that. I saw something that said someone holding on to a secret. I forget where I saw that somewhere. I don't know where, like, I don't know how I like attributed that to the movie. But then when I saw them hanging out, I was like, oh, is Anthony Hopkins going to realize he's like gay? Because he was getting really like familiar and friendly with the guy. Like when they were dancing and stuff like that. So I thought that was the direction they were going in.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Especially with it.
Go ahead.
No, especially in that time when the movie came out, you know, being gay wasn't really cool and everything. So I was like, they really took if they were going that route in the movie, I was like, they're really being bold with this. But of course they didn't. It went a whole different direction. Yeah.
I mean, if they did go in that direction, that still would have been dope. Cause like, especially, again, in that time and era, like being openly gay was more accepted, but it still wasn't as like prevalent or as, you know, mainstream as it is now. And I don't mean to say like being gay is mainstream. I just mean like people weren't so courageous to go do it, even, you know. So I thought if they were going to go in that direction, I was like, yo, that's going to be dope. I was wondering how they did it. But then it went to the backstory. And that caught me off guard. Yeah. It caught me really off guard because they established in the beginning of the movie, he's a Jewish like professor at this prestigious college.
Yeah. Went to school. Was it in Europe or?
Yeah, I think it was like NYU, and then he went.
Well, he studied overseas too, somewhere in Europe or Czech Republic or something. Either way, he was a very educated man, and they gave him the backstory, like, you know, he deserves where he is right now at this school. Yeah,
and then it went to that backstory, and I was like, they did the boxing. So when I did the backstory, like, Wentworth Miller, great actor. I don't know if I've ever seen him with his hair that grown out, but I was like, what are they trying to do with his hair? I thought they specifically tried to make it like extra curly. I don't know if his hair just originally really looks like that. For some reason, I thought maybe I'm so used to seeing him with a shaved head in Prison Break. Yeah, I didn't really recognize him with that.
Well, he was young too, so you know, he had like a young college student. Yeah. You know,
and then the family. Yeah, did that catch you by surprise?
It did. So this I know you guys been hearing backstory since we've been talking. When the man walks into the house to meet his family, like his blood family, they're black people.
Everyone's black.
Yeah, and he's the only light-skinned one.
Yeah, like it was insane. Like, it's Wentworth Miller playing a black dude, a light-skinned, really white light-skinned black guy. And then Harry Lennox plays the dad, Then he had the brother and the sister and mom who, like, when you see them, they're, you know, it's obvious they're black, you know.
Yeah.
But and what'd you think of the dad?
I thought, well, his whole story I felt was interesting, the way he played it, because, you know, obviously back in the day, you know, it's racism and everything.
Yeah, mind you, this was 1944, I think.
Yeah.
He said 1944 when he walked into the house. Okay.
So when the dad at the table, sitting there, you know, he's in his suit, he's speaking real educated, you know, he wants his sons to go to school and to be something. So at that moment, you also think he's probably a doctor or a lawyer or somebody of a high standard that works, and come to find out he's just the server on the train.
No, but the thing is, he's not just a server on the train, because, like you said, his dad did have, like, I think it was like a medical practice or something that he lost during the Depression.
Okay, and I missed that part.
Then now all of a sudden he's just a server on a train.
Yeah.
And basically, so the argument was that, like, the Anthony Hopkins character, or Wentworth Miller, was a very good boxer. He was like 11-0.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, his coach said that, you know, if you go in and you win this next fight, like, the guy, you might be able to get an athletic scholarship to Pitt. And the dad was like, no, you're going to Howard and you're going to become a doctor. And also he's like really steadfast on his son becoming, like, educated and, you know, being something, what's the word? Academic.
Yeah.
Which I understand. My dad was like that too. Like, I mean, not a lot of people know, but, like, I mean, I was a huge artist in high school, and when I graduated, I got voted class artist. I got all these different, like, art, like, art awards. And my dad was just like, yeah, it's not worth anything. They didn't have no money. I didn't get any money. I didn't get any scholarships or whatever, but it's just not worth anything. That shit broke my heart, like, shattered it, like, to the point that I took all my artwork and I balled it up and I threw it away. It was crazy. Like, I understand, like, how that can break someone down. I mean, long story short, after years of wrestling and realizing, like, I knew my path and I knew where I was going and I was on my right direction, I just had to keep, you know, chasing my dreams. I ended up picking up a paintbrush and a pen again and getting back to my artwork. So, you know, I found my artistic side again. But yeah, there's just, you gotta feel for kids like that want something and know what they want, and then the parents, like, kind of squash those dreams.
Yeah.
But do you think it's the fault of the dad? Do you think it's, like, the dad not understanding?
I do. You know, I just think parents in general, every parent wants to see their child succeed.
Yeah.
No matter what it may be. And I think parents forget that their struggles aren't their children's struggles.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of parents put what they went through on their children. Like, okay, I did this. I had to eat this. I had to go here. So because I did this, I want you to be just as strong as me.
Yeah.
And they don't realize, okay, that was your struggle. You did that. And look at what you became. And you made this child to have an easier path than you.
Yeah.
So they don't have to struggle the way you did purposely, because that's what you didn't want them to.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
But I think they forget that they paved that golden road for their child, and they're constantly throwing stones and bricks in front of them to trip them up. When it's like, why'd you paint this golden road if you didn't want them to walk down it?
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
and, like, also, like, I understand it, because it's like, you know, your parents want to see you succeed, and the only way they know how to succeed is how they did it. Yeah. So, like, they're just giving you the handbook that they wrote and say, if you follow this, you can succeed like I did. And, like, you know, it's hard for a child to be like, I need to succeed in the way that is right for me. In which the way that's right for me might not be the way that was right for you. You worked your ass off to give me this opportunity, so let me take this opportunity to make something of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really good scene. Like, the way his dad, like, was, you know, he said he basically told him, all right, if you're 11-0, then you're gonna retire undefeated.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh. Shit.
Yeah. How do you come back from that one?
So yeah, then he met what happened? Like, he met the white girl.
So yeah, So, oh, you talking about him still
as a kid.
yeah,
Yeah.
because of course as an adult when he's trying to get the book
Marbles
written,
out your mouth, bruh.
whatever. My brain's moving too fast. But as an adult when he's trying to get the book written, they come across the picture.
Yeah.
And he mentions the girl that he almost married.
Yeah.
You know, and how he said going to the library was like going fishing. You know, and
dog,
he broke it down.
You can't pick up women like that nowadays.
No,
People get arrested.
First of all, who goes to the library?
First of all, I go to the library. Don't judge.
I mean, but how many people do you see in there besides you and the librarian? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But yeah, like that was very like, I don't know if it was done just for the movie or maybe like, I mean, that's how I always saw it on TV back then. So maybe that's just, was that how women got picked up back then? I was too young. I wasn't trying to pick a woman. I was playing like forts and guns and, you know.
I don't know. You know, I wasn't in college in 1998 or 1944, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was very like just upfront, like within basically putting his hands on her and kissing her, like within 20 seconds, couple minutes of meeting the girl.
Well, yeah, but you know, back then, you know, if you look at the movie, the way they dressed, everybody had certain morals and integrity to them and everything. So it's like, you know, she was a good girl from Minnesota or something like that. And you know, he was from East Orange.
Yeah, East Orange, New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey. Okay, yeah. So, but he said he almost married her. You know, a lot of people don't do that nowadays. A lot of people don't believe in love at first sight, or hey, I want this person, I'm going to get him.
Exactly.
You know, everything's on some app now. Or if you want to meet somebody in person, it's automatically what do you want from me versus hey, to reference another movie. To reference another movie, Hitch. Where, you know, when he said a guy can't walk to a girl and say, hey, I like you. It just doesn't work, even though that's what you really want to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So I forget. So, all right, so let's go from there before we get to that breakup, because that was harsh. Now we get into like the part where he meets like the Nicole Kidman character. How did he originally meet her? It was just walking, like he saw her at the
post office. Remember, he had to go in and get stamps.
Yeah, and get some stamps. Yeah. And he just ran into her real quick.
Yeah. And not the post office, because remember, she was a janitor at the school. So I'm guessing he was at the school trying to get stamps there.
Yeah, he just had to go to that vending machine and get stamps.
Yeah. And on the way driving home, he sees her broke down.
Yeah.
So offers her a ride, you know, plain and simple.
Yep.
But you know, she's the initiator. Like, she asked if he wanted to come in. You can obviously tell she's flirting with him. In a real subtle way.
Yeah.
But then she hits her with the Anderson pack, leave the door open. You know what I'm saying? Or the Silk Sonic. And I mean, you could just tell it's an open invitation.
Yeah.
You know, what man is going to sit there and just let the doors open and walk away? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I mean, some men will, because they don't like. Okay, so
not me.
No, yeah, because you're a whore.
No, I am a sophisticated person with morals and integrity.
An opportunist. No, it's just like, I mean, yeah, you're take out like normal like in 2000. It's hard. Like sometimes you see that, and you got to remember this is back in 2000s, 1998. Like in 2021, like it's hard. You don't just run in a house with someone because with the internet, people are crazy out there.
Yeah.
Back then, you take, somebody flirts with you and gives you an open invitation, and you just obviously decide whether you want to go in and you don't. I mean, mind you, Anthony Hopkins is like 65 years old. Yeah. So like he ain't got much to lose. But
he says that in the movie though, which I thought was very, very significant.
What's that?
When he talks, when he actually tells the person, I don't know why I can't think of his name. I call him Lieutenant Dan. That's all I see.
Yeah, Gary.
When he's telling him about the girl.
Yeah.
And he says, when you're this age, because he lost his wife, he's not looking for love, he's not looking for anything. He said it hits you with no remorse, and it doesn't stop, and you can't fight it, because I realized, at least it's the message I got from it, at that age, his days are numbered, his days are counted. He's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna die alone, and I'm making myself be happy with that.
Yeah.
So when he meets her, now for her, it's just like, hey, I met you, we're just having fun, I don't care. But for him, it's like, let me enjoy this one last time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I like the idea that it was the girl initiating on the guy, because like, I mean, that's just the way it is. Like when you watch most movies or everything, that it always looks like the guy's the guy who wants to try to initiate, and the girl's the one who's always reserved and pulling back. And like, but in real life, no, there's people of all varied, backgrounds, whatever, and like women initiate just like guys initiate. It is what it is. Like, but so it was nice to see that on camera.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then what was after that? Like what? Man, that they went to the dinner scene with the girlfriend, and when he went to go take him to meet his family or his mother.
Yeah. The girl he met in the library.
Yeah.
Back when he was a child.
Yeah.
Or a teenager rather. Because so just for the record for listeners, the movie goes back and forth from adulthood to his college years.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Yeah, you're really getting a sense of like, I mean, when you see him as an adult, you see like how he's fully formed and how his, what his morals compass is, and how he, holds himself in the face of like everything that's going on. But then when you go to the flashbacks, you see that he had a very different background.
Yes.
And you're trying to figure out like, how do you go from this to that?
Yeah.
I mean, like, okay, so I don't know if you guys have picked up from this right here from us talking, but essentially at the beginning of the movie, Anthony Hopkins is put out as a Jewish aristocrat, no, a Jewish academic, and then you find out he's a black dude.
Yeah.
That looks white, and he's kind of ashamed to be black.
Yeah.
Not because, I don't know if it's because I don't think it's because he doesn't love his family. It's because in 1944, it was so hard life on like African Americans that he chose to use, the things he had on him to his advantage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he did. I mean, yeah, he took the girl home to meet his mom, and like, I mean, she tried to like,
accept it. Yeah.
Accept it and things like that. But like, literally, like, she broke up with him because he was black.
Yeah.
Literally, that was it. She was in love with him. She wanted to marry him and all this different stuff. And she broke up with him because he was black.
Yep.
That one, like, that hit. I was like, oh, snap. Like,
yeah.
Oof. And it wasn't no like, okay, he's black and he does all this. I found out he does all this crazy stuff. Like, no, it's just the only thing she found out was this dude's black. In 1944, I guess that was a deal breaker. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how it looks in society.
For real. But
do you think, I know they didn't say it, but do you think in her mind, she was like, this dude's lied to me this entire time, and that kind of perpetuated her like negative feelings? Or was it just, oh shit, he's black, I got to get out of here?
I think it was more like she felt lied to, because I mean, even as the audience, I can't say I felt lied to, because obviously, I'm watching the movie.
Yeah.
But just when it hit the fact that he's not who he is, you just say, oh snap, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So for the movie to portray that, I really felt like it was more about, I thought you were somebody different.
Yeah.
Versus like, he's still the same person. His skin is just a different color. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And his mom even said it. His mom called it like that's her golden boy. But
yeah.
She wasn't ashamed that she has one son who's pasty white.
Yeah.
And the rest of her kids are, black, whatever. But like, yeah, when she broke up with him, I felt for him. I was like, man, like, that's something you can't control. You're deathly in love with this girl, and she wants out just because color of the skin. But I mean, you can see how that would push him in the direction that he went.
Yeah.
And pretty much denouncing his family. No, not almost. He did. He denounced his family.
Yeah.
I felt for the mom when he did that.
Oh yeah, because what she say? She said, "You're gonna call me and tell me to sit at the bus station, and I'm gonna show up, and you're gonna walk by with my grandkids so I can see them, but I can't touch them."
Yeah, and they're gonna be dressed in their Sunday's best.
Yeah.
And all this different stuff, and I was just like, man, like, she was willing. She understood. She understood why he felt the way he did. I mean, because in that time frame, like, yeah, it was rough, and like, but I mean, you could see her heart breaking on screen, like when he goes to leave. Man, what's crazy is like, so after that, you see how broken and how confused and how jumbled Anthony Hopkins' character is. But then you go into Nicole Kidman's character, who, man, she has a hell of a backstory.
Yeah.
Like when you start peeling back the layers and like you see the crazy husband.
Matter of fact, can we talk about the crazy husband for a minute?
Go for it. Why?
I mean,
did you feel like you was looking in the mirror?
I mean, in some cases, yeah, because he mentioned. I mean, this is one thing that actually kind of drives me crazy about veterans.
Yeah, you are a veteran yourself, Purple Heart. So
yeah, indeed. But being a veteran, I understand it because when a lot of veterans, when they leave and go to war, they don't come back the same way. So people that they love, people that they thought were friends or whatever, they feel like everything's changed. When really, just to be perfectly honest, you changed.
Yeah,
and everything looks different around you.
Yeah,
and he mentions, if I can remember correctly, when he's in his little psych meeting or whatever, he said they told me to kill, so I killed. Like that was his job. So to come back, and one thing, especially back in that time, like nowadays they have the PTSD and they actually work hard with soldiers to get them to transition back from war zones to civilian life. But back then, based on my own studies and everything, they didn't have that. So you got this veteran out there that for the last however many years was a killing machine, and he has a wife and just trying to put whatever love he has left in his system. Because a lot of people don't realize, especially on frontline soldiers, we have to really shield our emotions.
Yeah.
Because when you start to feel shit, that's when it affects you. So you have to put all your emotions away and do your job. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And what I took from it, he has his wife, he loves her, but he has his problems, can't get any help. And when the cops show up, he's like, "This is what I get for serving my country." And I hate that line because I guess maybe because I'm old and I think about it differently. But at the same time, I understand it because you think that you have some type of
immunity
help or protection or something like, okay, yeah, I just went and did all this stuff for my country.
Yeah.
And I can't even live right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In my country.
Yeah. So, I can't even talk to my wife right now.
Yeah.
I went and put my life on the line for my country, and I can't even say and talk to my wife without y'all bothering me.
Yeah.
I get that. But then you see like why him and his wife were at odds. Like the whole thing with like her kids dying in the fire.
Yeah.
And save them. And like, man, like once I saw that and I started seeing all these different characters, I was like, wow, it's just a whole collection of broken individuals, and you see them just moving forward in life, trying to heal, trying to get better, trying to get to a point where they can live happily. Man, it was hard. Like I was like, whoa, that's very intense scenarios.
Yeah. So, but yeah, to Nicole Kidman's character, because I think when they were talking, if I remember correctly, he wants to know her backstory.
Yeah.
And
she didn't want to tell him at all.
Yeah.
She was kind of be like, why are you just ruining the fun? Why can't you just let it be? Which I understand. Like some people want to, just fill their life with the now so they don't have to think about the past, which is understandable. Like, especially when you have like, mind you, I don't have like that crazy background. So I'm not speaking from experience. I'm just speaking from thought. But like, when you're trying to escape from this past that you don't want to think about anymore, you try to fill up your everyday life with, whatever you can in order to just pull your mind out of it, give yourself to basically to distract you.
Yeah. And if you look at it, everybody in the movie was running from something.
Yeah.
The writer was running from his failed marriages and everything in his books.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins running from his life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. His struggles, like trying to make do with, being a black person in America.
Yeah.
So you know how weird that is to say? Anthony Hopkins is running from trying to make do with being a black person in America.
Hey, that's the role he played. And he played it pretty damn well. I'll give it to him.
Really well. And that's so that's the thing I like. Like sometimes it's not about it's about hiring the right actor for the right job. Because you're trying to tell a story the best way possible.
Yeah.
And you're also trying to make money while telling this story. So like, sometimes you go for the best actor, and Anthony Hopkins knocked it out the park.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And Nicole Kidman running from her past of her children and an abusive husband, the husband running from his past of just all the the wars and
Yeah,
hurt
yeah.
that he witnessed and everything.
Yeah,
Like you said, it's a pool of broken people
yeah,
trying to run from their brokenness and trying to find happy.
yeah. I thought it was really cool how I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind. God damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, those things happen. Those things happen. That's when you just you're thinking of. But no, it was really good. Like I was into the movie.
Yeah.
Caveat, like I know we do the cell phone. How many times you pick up your cell phone? I didn't. Every time I wanted to pick up my cell phone in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
it was not because I was distracted. I genuinely wanted to go and research the things that we're talking about.
Mm.
So, but yeah, like, when like the funeral for I think I'm jumping way too far because that the funeral is way at the end.
Yeah.
Like I forget how did they get back on good terms? It
You
was
talking about
Nicole Kidman and Anthony Hopkins. They got back on good terms because like she went and visited that crow.
Yeah.
Yeah, she went to go visit that crow. So at an earlier point in the movie, Anthony Hopkins asked Nicole Kidman like after they've done having sex, whatever, and he asked her like, what would you want to be right now? And she says a crow, and he had no idea what it meant, and she kind of just glossed over it. But then later on, you see like there's this crow that she used to go to all the time, and she would just tell her problems to the crow. Like she would, it was the one person that would listen to her.
Yeah.
And
if she named him Prince.
Yeah. That was.
The movie has so much in it, and
Yeah.
just trying to cover it all. I know we're not going to be able to. I mean, it's just a lot,
Yeah, there is like I wish I could remember more details about it, but maybe it's better because I feel like I feel like if you're listening to this right now, like you should go see this. It's a very good movie, very well acted, very like it's just I don't know. It's they don't make movies like this anymore. The last movie I saw like this was probably like Rainmaker or what's like The Ice Storm, like these old like drama movies that they just don't make anymore.
Yeah. They got back on good terms. I believe after he took her to dinner, and he took her to a fence.
Remember he took her to the fancy restaurant and
the
dude she flipped out.
Yeah.
Like okay, so what would you do in that situation?
Well,
if you're her, because I kind of lean towards the way she reacted. Like I mean, dramatic, but like I understand.
Well, I look at both angles, and like if I was in Anthony Hopkins' shoes, that's what he got used to. So in his mind, because you can obviously tell he likes the girl.
Oh, he was in love with her.
Yeah. So he's not trying to impress her. He's just being him.
Yeah.
But he's like up here and she's down here. So when he takes her to the restaurant, she's like, I don't belong here. I'm not in fancy clothes. He's like, no, it's okay. Relax. And she freaks out like, nah, like, are you trying to embarrass me? Whatever the case may be. Yeah. She takes off. So I understand her side of it too. When a person there that doesn't come from that type of environment and they're considered, I guess, bottom of the barrel, so to speak, or whatever the backstory is, but obviously they're different bracket of people in society.
Yeah.
Either when they step into a place like that and they're not used to it, they freak out.
Yeah.
Or for the very few people, they learn how to adjust quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Like in her case, I think I don't know if she was so taken aback by the restaurant as she was being introduced to Gary Sinise, the writer.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like, oh, so because she thinks a certain way about herself. So like, oh, what did you tell him? You told him I was your little whore, I was this and all this different stuff. And it's like, he's like, no, like I just wanted you to meet my friend because like you're someone special, he's someone special. So I wanted y'all to meet. But she took it so left because she was just on defense.
Yeah. And that's actually a good point that you bring that out, because I realize in life, a lot of people are so focused on themselves.
Yeah.
They can't see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So because she thought she wasn't worth it, she thought everybody else thought she wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And that's not the case sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
She couldn't see that like the Anthony Hopkins character was literally, this guy lost his wife, lost his job and all this stuff. And like, she was pretty much not all he had, but she was the one thing bringing him happiness.
Yeah.
And so like he was, just genuinely wanted her around, wanted her to be around. And I don't know if she could handle that, because maybe she just felt like she didn't deserve happiness after everything that happened to her.
And what's funny? A lot of people like now really don't know that or think they deserve happiness.
Yeah.
They've gone through something so long or been in the spot for so long that they think that's where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
If something's not miserable or broken, then it's not for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think the world was made to be that way. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think the world has all like different starting points.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody, everybody's ladder starts lower in the hole, but they all have steps that you got to use to climb. Yours might be longer, your steps might be higher, but eventually like you can all get to the same place. It's just, you got to understand that like some people have to work harder.
Yeah.
And to get to those places, that's just the way it is. But chances are, if you have to work harder to get to those positions, you'll understand the struggle more and you appreciate it more.
Mm-hmm.
And like generally those people tend to have more success than the other ones, just because they understand what it's like to grind when they had nothing. So they're not afraid to go back to nothing. If you start from the halfway mark, the idea of dropping all the way to the bottom is, that's hell. That's death. Like you don't know what you would do in that situation. But if you get someone who crawled up from the bottom, they're just going back to something they're familiar with. That's not it's not anything new to them.
Yeah, and I've learned this. People like, if this is, I guess, the line of life.
Yep.
And you fall down.
Well, you need some like lotion.
Shut up. it's the lady.
You got detention. You had to clean the chalkboard.
Hey, it's been a long day. All right, leave me alone. But asshole. But if this is the line of life and you sink from that line, you might drop down here.
Yeah.
And then of course you'll climb up and you might get a little more on the success side and you might fall again. But because you've been down here before, you know how not to get back down there. You might stop yourself here.
Yeah.
And then you'll climb up higher and you might fall again, but then you might even out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And eventually you'll get to that point where you're climbing and then you're climbing and climbing and climbing and you didn't know what the bottom is anymore.
Yeah. I mean, like, so for a quick example, like, and this is literally like just super, super basic, but like when I first started making wrestling gear, like I didn't know any of the tips and tricks. I learned I got taught how to use a sewing machine and I started teaching myself. And whenever I would do logos or lettering and stuff, I would flip the fabric over backwards and I'd draw the letters on there onto the fabric backwards, cut it out, pin it down, sew it on. And like over the years, I've learned all these different techniques and tricks that make that so much easier, which makes my life a lot easier, makes me way more efficient, and allows me to do a lot more complex things. But if I were to lose all that equipment, if I were to lose all those different techniques, I'm not afraid because I know I could do it with barely anything because I've done it before.
Yeah.
So that's like having someone who's only started on these crazy, elaborate machines, then all of a sudden you knock those away. You give them a Singer from like 1970, it's only got a straight and zigzag stitch. They won't know what to do. Someone like me is like, I started on that. So that's nothing. Like, yeah. So that's the whole idea of like starting from the bottom and working your way up. And just, you have this leg and experience on people who started from the middle.
You told me this one time. We've been friends for a while, a couple of years, and I've had my share of ups and downs. Yes, and I remember, but I remember a while back when I ended up getting this job, and I got my first check. It was like for one day of work, so it wasn't much, like $170, something like that. Yeah. And I was like, I made this in one day, and I said, you and I both know they ain't no real money. And you said, but remember, at one time that was your week's check, and you made it work. And I said, you know what, you got a point. Yeah. And it's just that whole, like you just said, knowing that when you've been somewhere, you know how to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like it's those people that like all of a sudden they're making $2,000 a week and they feel like they got $2,000 to spend. And when like a month before you were only making $200 a week. Mm-hmm. So if you make $2,000 a week now, but still spend like you only make $200 a week, now you got $1,800 that you're putting in, to the bank for saving and all this different stuff. Like it's it's just remembering that like there is a struggle there. Just because you got to a point where you feel like you don't have to struggle, don't think that. I mean, obviously have fun. You worked your ass off for that money. Do what you will with it, but just understand that there is a struggle there. You didn't all of a sudden get to this point where there's no struggle anymore. Like it's always going to be there. Just as long as you're conscious of it, you can, work your way around it.
Indeed.
But yeah.
Indeed.
So I felt for Nicole Kidman's character because she really went through a lot, like losing her kids in the fire, and just feeling like it was her fault, her basically just running away from her abusive husband and all this past.
Was he blamed her for the kids dying too?
Yeah.
So he had that issue on him, along with being a war veteran.
Exactly.
So
dude, that story he told to the writer at the end of the movie. Obviously, I'm jumping ahead, but like we talk about, like if I had a son, I'd be teaching him all these things right now when he was ice fishing.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like you can understand. Like I don't want to, I don't want to commend, the wife beater, the guy that, does all the nasty shit. But like when he speaks his truth like that, and he tells that kind of story, like you can't help but understand his pain. And, you might not commend his actions, or you might not condone his actions, but you understand his motivations.
Yeah. And I think that's just an issue with people in general. A lot of times humans look at other humans and all they see is the problem.
Yeah.
Or the actions of what they're doing, but nobody ever takes the time to understand the why. Like where did it come from?
Yeah.
And instead of trying to tell them to stop doing this problem, understand where the problem's coming from and fix that first. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And understand that even if what they're doing right now is viewed as negative, try to understand where they're coming from, because they may be coming from a spot that's even worse.
Yeah.
Just now getting to this spot. So this is actually something better for them. So like, don't just condemn them for what they're doing now, help them along their way. Like just I'll try to understand that just because where you see somebody at the present moment doesn't mean they were always at this present moment. Like they were somewhere else before, and that's a part of their story that you can't throw away.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. No, this is a very cerebral movie. Very cerebral.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been a type to like preach go see a movie.
Yeah.
But like Sarath said at the beginning, especially if you're over 30 or just got a mature mind or anything, it's an older movie. Yeah. But it'll make you think about some things.
Yeah, it'll really make you analyze like where you are in life, all the things you've been through, and the things maybe you've changed about yourself in order to get to a point where you are in life. And just it'll make you ask yourself like, hey, did I make the right choices? Am I doing right by who I truly am, by doing what I did to get here?
Yeah.
It's real complex. And it wouldn't take more than 2 views to really understand it, but it leaves you with questions about your own life versus questions about the movie.
Yeah, I think so too.
It was, dude, the way all right, so caveat, the husband kills Anthony Hopkins and the wife and Nicole Kidman, but the way he did it was real cold. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to say it was a perfect crime, but the way they did it, like
the way they did it and the way he told the story of how it happened, it's like he was real slick with his words. He said, I didn't kill him. And technically speaking, he didn't. But he just like kind of made it possible for them.
He put them in the position to where they had to make a choice where they ended up dead.
Yeah.
I felt bad because like finally, like the Anthony Hopkins character, Nicole Kidman character, finally they got to a point where like they really understood where the other person was coming from. And they actually got to a point where it felt like they were going to be able to move ahead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the beginning of the movie opens with that crash, but you don't know the context of it.
Yeah.
So you don't know that the ex-husband's the one that ran them off the road and shit like that.
Yeah.
I kind of want to read the book that Anthony Hopkins was writing. The way he said he couldn't he couldn't put out.
Yeah.
He was writing about that being fired for using the word spook.
Yeah. And then when he mentioned that everybody in the office is people he hired, you know what I'm saying? And they said that he made the school better. Like everything was on his shoulders, like when they came to that school. And when they tried to remember at the end after the funeral, his sister says all this could have just went away if he would have just said who he was.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that's so, to me, that's such a bold fire statement.
Yeah.
Just be who you are, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like he basically took it to the grave.
Yeah.
He took that secret to the grave when a lot of his troubles could have went away if he just accepted it. Do you feel like because I feel like I know people like this, but like some people who are so deep into a fable that they know no other way but then to just keep running with it. Like I've been lying so long, I can't go back now. I just have to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
They've lied so much. He was.
I think I want to say I heard it in the song, but you lie so much they become the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that happens sometimes where like people lie so much, all of a sudden it becomes their honest truth. They don't remember what actually happened because they've been telling this other story so much that becomes the truth. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That was a really good choice. I was a little skeptical when I saw the cover. Really good choice for a movie.
Look, the title got me when it said The Human Stain. I'm honestly thinking it's something sexual. I really am.
That, especially by the cover.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. That looked like Basic Instinct kind of like movie. I was like, what is he making me watch?
But
I literally was like, what was going through Chris's mind when he picked this?
We was about to start the podcast in about 2 minutes. That's what's going through my mind.
I saw that. I was like, this motherfucker. But no, it was, And all right, and so this is exactly why we started this podcast. Because I guarantee you, neither you nor I would have popped on that movie had we had the time to scroll through Netflix, HBO Max, and just look for a movie. That's not something where I would initially just click on it and say, okay, I want to watch this.
Yeah.
Unless I was like some Anthony Hopkins fiend or some shit.
Yeah. There's only one Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. But no, it was good. So like I've been itching for a good drama. Because you know how like sometimes you watch dramas nowadays and it's a drama, but it's kind of a comedy.
It's a drama. It's rushed. It's a comedy. It's nothing's made to really zone you in anymore. Yeah, and like really focus on the movie. You know what I'm saying?
It's very on the surface. Like they don't delve deep into, the human psyche or like the ugliness of being a human. That's one thing I really liked about this because they really like people. I mean, granted, you got some A-list actors in here, but like they weren't pretty. Not as in looks, but like character wise, like these aren't pretty characters. They're fucking salt of the earth type of characters.
Yeah.
Actually, have you seen Nomadland?
Nomadland?
Yeah. So I've already watched it, so it doesn't fall into the category for this movie, for this thing. But if you get a chance to watch Nomadland, it stars Frances McDormand, and she's lives in a van, travels around and stuff. It's really fucking good.
Okay.
Directed by Chloe Zhao. It's really dope.
Okay.
I want to say it won the Oscar for Best Picture.
Really?
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it won the Oscar for Best Picture. But yeah. So you got any final thoughts or quotes on this movie?
Shoot. The only quote that I could think of is what I just said previously. Just be yourself. It's like be who you are, own who you are, and love every bit of it. You know what I'm saying? And when you love yourself, it'll show. And then of course you love everything else around you. And even though his life may have been a little harder, going 1944, and being a black man or whatever the case may be, I think his reward in the end would have been so much more worth it.
Yeah. I think the struggle to be a successful academic in that point in time as a black man would have been much harder, but I think would have been way more impactful had he gone that route. Yeah. Because it would have, it would have set the table for young black kids to see like, hey, you can aspire to be this. Yeah. But you understand the person's struggle with wanting to identify as that when they see this other avenue that's 100 times easier. Like all I got to do is just tell everybody I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
And, my life will be 100 times easier. Okay, cool. Like,
Yeah.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm. So that's the quote I got. Just be yourself. Be yourself and love it. No, love everything about you, no matter how good, bad, ugly it may be.
Yeah.
Love you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I got two. I got my own quote, but I got two quotes from the movie that I wrote down that I heard. Let me see what you think of these.
Okay.
All right. So the first one, it says, "I don't think you can measure sorrow."
Yes.
I heard that.
That was a good one.
Oh shit! I literally
Yes.
wrote it right down because I was like, man, you can't measure a person's sadness. You can't look at a person's like feelings and the way they're trying to cope with something and be like, okay, well, it's not that bad. No, that's not on you to look at. It's a very personal thing. Like, yeah.
Who are you to say that their problem isn't that bad? That's their problem. You didn't go through it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, that was definitely a good quote. He said you can't measure because he lost his wife in his job and lived a lie. She lost her kids in the fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it was the dude that was telling her, like, it was the so spoiler, the lawyer in the movie is played by Clark Gregg, who plays Agent Coulson in Avengers. But he was basically telling him like, hey, give up this woman. Like Achilles gave up his girl, and because he was so whatever he talked about Achilles and stuff like that. But he said Achilles gave up his girl and became like the greatest warrior ever. Like, he was telling her, this girl is holding you back. Just give her up. All your problems that are happening now are because you met this girl. Like, it's not that bad. And he told her, it's like, yo, you can't measure her sorrow based off of like my success. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So that was good. The second one was, I felt like this one, I wrote it down because I felt like this applies a lot to 2021.
Okay.
And it says, people are getting dumber, but more opinionated.
Yes. Oh my God, man. See, I know I should have wrote them down because those are the two I told you that stood out to me.
Yeah.
I was like, when we were talking, I was just like, we ain't gonna talk about it, but yeah, it was probably the same quote. And it's like that now. Everybody, especially nowadays with this Twitter and Facebook, and you could go online and say and do whatever you feel like saying and doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's your opinion, but you're stupid as hell. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's people, they're making these, I want to say, these blanket, really upfront statements. And like, it's your opinion, but you don't have all the facts. So you're just stating something without knowing the fact, like, and then acting like whatever you stated is the end all be all. Like, it's okay if that's your opinion, but be aware enough to understand that I don't have all the facts. So someone else who does might say something that might change my opinion. It's okay to change your opinion. But yeah, when I read that, I was like, yeah, it's people are getting dumber, but right now they have so much access that whenever they state their opinion, it reaches way more people.
And just think that movie was made back in 2003.
Yeah.
And that quote was said.
Yeah, they saw it coming a mile away.
Yeah, really.
Well, I mean, back then it was like the advent, like the internet was just starting to get big, right?
Yeah, but people wasn't online. Because think about how many people see something happening and go straight to Facebook or Twitter and post it or write their 2 cents about it.
Yeah.
And it's something that happened in California, and you got a person in Australia tweeting about it.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Here's my thought. Are things crazier now, or is it because we have so much access that we just hear about it more? Because before, if something crazy happened, if you didn't hear about it on, the news at 6 or the news at 10, you pretty much didn't hear about it.
Yeah.
So is it because we have a 24-hour news stream now and we're bombarded with all the negative things that are happening in the world that it just appears that there's more going on than there is now back then?
Well, think about police brutality and that whole movement that's going on. It's always been going on. And of course, the first real footage of it was Rodney King, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was taken on a VHS shoulder camera, by an innocent bystander. Nowadays, everybody has their cell phone. So these things, I think, no matter what has been going on, it's just everybody has a window to the world now.
Yeah.
So they can broadcast whatever's going on for the world to see, just like that.
It's, you know, what's crazy for me to think about is that, and it makes me sad. Oh shit. Okay. Something came on the TV and it just popped my interest. But anyways, it was a baking show. The baking show popped up. You know, I like to cook. Shut up.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised your TV's on, but okay.
It's just in the background. But anyways, it's that, like,
I'm in my bunker.
I know you. You look like have you seen the new Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis, where she's like an old woman?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, you gotta watch it because you look like you're in her bunker, prepping for D-Day or some shit.
Hey, gotta be prepared at all times.
All right, but like, no, so it's it makes me wonder when things are captured on camera and put out on Twitter and stuff like that, like what the motive behind it is. Is it because they saw something? And I'd hate to, like, you know, I'd hate to not make light, just make anything seem disingenuous. But like, sometimes I wonder, what was the motive behind capturing this footage? Is it because you saw something negative going on and you wanted the world to see it because you thought this has to change? Or is it because they thought, oh, I'm going to go viral. That's going to be my video that everybody sees.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. Like, I hate thinking that, but sometimes I wonder, like, what's the motive behind putting out some of the video? Is it for your own clout, or is it for real change? I sincerely hope it's for real change, because, you know, everybody wants change. Sometimes I wonder if that's always the case.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was always the case, then we wouldn't have World Star. But we have World Star because some people want to capture that footage for the clout, to say they're the ones that caught that footage. So
I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but I heard World Star wasn't even supposed to be about that. It was, I'm not going to quote who I heard it from or where I heard it, but basically it was supposed to be originated for, like, rappers doing positive things.
Yeah, it's World Star hip hop.
Yeah,
I wonder where the hip hop part is at now.
Yeah, and then it just took a left turn. Yeah,
I mean, you know, when funds come into play, you know, and when you can make money off of, things change.
Yeah,
I don't know, but that's just, I have no idea either. So maybe we're just talking out of our ass and we have no idea.
Hey,
just know that when you listen to us talk, we are two morons. We don't know what the hell we're talking about. I make costumes for a living. This dude drives trucks. We have no idea what we're talking about, but our thoughts are our own. That's it.
Yeah,
it is.
Pretty much.
Yeah. My quote for the movie is, like you said, you know, be you.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is like, your past isn't your future. Just understand that because you come from this doesn't mean you're going to end up here, or that's as far as you can go. Like, my family came to this country with literally nothing but the clothes on our backs. And now I'm at a point in this 2021 where, man, that was 1984. 1984, we came to this country from Cambodia with Thailand, with nothing but the clothes on our backs. And in 2021, you know, I have a great job making wrestling costumes, and I am on the internet recording a video with my best friend who lives in Alabama, and we're going to put it out for the world to see. That doesn't happen if my dad and my mom didn't, you know, put everything on the line to escape the Khmer Rouge. Yeah. So, yeah, big ups to them, mom and dad. I love you guys so much. But yeah, like, just because we started there doesn't mean we have to end up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both from Springfield, Massachusetts. No, that's where Sarath ended up. I was born and raised there. Yeah. You know, and we didn't even know each other.
I want to say, I mean, you could pretty much say I was raised there, because I got there when I was 10 months old. So I'm pretty much raised there.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, but we didn't even know each other until after I went to the military, came back home, and was working at the ice cream factory, and then we met. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it just went off from there.
It's crazy. You would think, with the way our friendship is now, that we would have been childhood friends and all this stuff. No, I didn't meet his dumb ass till I was 26. It's because of him I drink. It's because of him I drink.
He has a little better control than I do, though, because he ended up being a designated driver all the time. Yeah. But hey, I
It's like,
understand the veteran Ed Harris, man. Hey, we got some issues, man.
yeah, but that's the thing, like, you know, and it's crazy. So like, yeah, in the movie, you really got like a whole breadth of the scope of humans out there. You have an academic who's going through some. You have an academic. You have a lost woman. You have a veteran. You have this like other writer. All these different things, and it's like every single one of them, no matter their background, is going through some shit.
Yeah,
Like just because you start somewhere in life doesn't mean you're not going to go through some shit.
yeah, indeed.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, no, so go see this movie. Like, it's on HBO Max. It was on HBO Max.
Yeah, that's where I found it.
Yeah, watch this movie. It's really good. I think you will. I think if you're into just cerebral thinking and really analyzing life, and just if you're into really good acting and performances,
Yeah,
you will enjoy this movie because the acting is top notch in this movie.
indeed.
All right, so
what's? Oh yeah, that was your quote. You said the two.
yeah,
of
my
these.
quote is,
Yours.
my quote is, yeah, just no matter where you come from, that's not just no matter where you begin in life, that's not where you have to end up.
Yeah,
Or your ceiling isn't where you think it is. You can go even further.
mm-hmm.
So I think that's it for this episode, right?
I believe so.
No,
I think it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, but we got to see what's on tap for next week.
Oh yeah, that's on you this time.
Yep. So I was looking through Netflix. If I was looking for this movie called Cooking Up a Storm. It was made in 2017. It's a cook. You know me, I love cooking.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys know me, I love me some cooking. Like, I gets down in the kitchen. Chris too, but he does like drunk cooking.
No, I
Friday
cook.
night drunk.
Look,
I get home.
okay, no, I look. I do drunk cooking, but it always comes out great. Everybody loves it. Okay, I don't care. But when I'm actually sober and I'm cooking, you know, every time we get together, we cook. We're always in the kitchen doing something.
Yeah, no. You can get down on the grill. I just remember, whatever it was you cooked in Tennessee that night when we got back.
Oh,
he was hungry as hell.
Yeah, I was drunk too. I was drunk as fuck.
Yeah. A whole lot of drinking.
But look, even then in Tennessee, the best meal that we had, and we talked about it because we went out to eat 4 days, and the best meal was the one that we all sat and cooked together.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah,
so good.
Me, you, your brothers, your other friend, or we all family now. Exactly. But everybody was in there cooking their own thing, and everything was phenomenal.
Yeah. Speaking of cooking, like, I was just at my parents' house the other day, and they had some chicken wings. Bruh, next time you're up there, get ready, because chicken wings and cornhole. That's all it is.
I know your mom's gonna make some chicken wings.
Yeah, she's like, oh, Chris, my son, I got chicken.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, here we go. Where's the watermelon?
Yeah, summer's almost ending. She'll probably have watermelon.
Yeah.
All right, so the movie for next week, or for next episode, are you ready? Let me see if you can read this.
I'm listening. Animal World?
Yes. So the movie's called Animal World.
What kind of goofy looking shit is that?
Netflix. And I really liked this this cover because it was just super abstract. You got like a guy running, and I can't tell if it's him running back in the other direction or other colors, but it was just super abstract and super like colorful. So it intrigued me.
It looks like a little kiddie movie, but this is what we do. MCR, Movie Cover Roulette.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. So it's like in the picture, if you look at the picture and then you see the name Animal World, there's no correlation whatsoever. So it makes you wonder, like, what does this cover have to do with that title? That's what I thought.
I'm guessing something wild. Everything about this looks wild, but hey, this is what we do, right?
Yeah. I really got some like Inception vibes off it. So here's one more thing though. It's a foreign film.
A lot of reading.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do some. I don't know. They might have the English language thing on there, but like you can watch the English language, or you can read.
Yeah.
Or
I came from the Springfield, Massachusetts public school system. I know how to read.
Not well, but matter of fact, when's the last time you've been in Springfield?
Last time I was there with you for your parents' anniversary.
So you haven't seen the so if you're from Springfield, Chris went to Putnam High. Have you seen the new Putnam school?
I did.
The one that was like, always set in the back where the football field used to be.
Yeah, for real. That shit is fucking weird.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was just up there the other day. There's a bunch of other schools there, and I don't know how well they are.
Really?
Yeah. Like my niece goes to like a Renaissance, which used to be Springfield Central. I mean, Springfield
High, right?
Springfield High.
Okay.
It was Springfield. It was Central Academy. Then it became Springfield High. Like when I was.
But you went to Central, didn't you? Or
I went to Central. Central Academy was just 9th grade.
Oh, okay.
Central had 10th, 11th, and 12th, and then it became Springfield High, and then Central moved 9th grade over there.
Okay.
So I went over to Central when 9th grade moved over to the main building.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our latest episode of the Movie Poster Roulette podcast.
Is it movie poster, movie cover?
Poster, cover, whatever. That thing you put on the front.
I was calling it MCR, Movie Cover Roulette.
Yeah, Movie Cover Roulette, MCR. That's how I have it saved in the computer. MCR. It's not the MCU, it's the MCR.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, man. This is Sarath.
Chris.
And his weapons. All right. So can you give people a little bit of background on your background? Because you look like you seriously look like you're ready for like The Walking Dead.
This is really not even everything. This, I don't want to, man. I want my whole background weapons. I'm gonna throw some happy shit up here eventually. You know what I'm saying? But just I don't know. I just feel like better to need it and not have it than to have it, or no, better have it and not need it than need it and not have it. You
need a sickle.
I'm like Ironhide, weapon specialist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you about to like sit down. You be like the Black John Wick.
Hey, call me if you got a problem. You know what I'm saying? Pay me in gold cords or gold chains. It's all good.
If you show up one day in a suit, I'm gonna be like, man, get out of here.
Hey, you never know.
All right.
You never know.
All right, man. It was good catching up. On to next week.
Yes, indeed.
All right, and so for the listeners out there, go watch The Human Stain. Like it's very good. It's very, if you're into dramas. If you're not, you might get bored. But if you're into dramas and you want something like mature and adultish, like give it a check. It's really good.
Yes, indeed. So yeah. Until next time, next week.
All right.
We were talking about Animal World.
Yep. Yeah.
You'll see how this goes.
I'm excited, man. You're lucky. I saw some Teletubbies on there. I was like, ooh, I should throw him a bruh.
We're gonna look. We don't even have that many viewers right now, and we're gonna lose like the viewers that we don't have.
We're gonna pick up some more.
All right, brother. I will holler at you.
Peace.
Yeah.